Hi, this is Bob Gutman with the Political Profiles podcast from Transatlantic Magazine. Today we're going to be just right before my University of Virginia class, so I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about a couple things on my mind about the impeachment coming up. But before that, President Trump just wrote a congratulatory letter and a tweet to the President of China. Today's Independence Day in China. It's the day that communism took over. Why in anybody's name would you congratulate somebody for having a communist government that violates human rights, that's in a trade war with us, and has part of its special administrative region in Hong Kong, people getting shot like they did today, trying to get freedom, and the president of China has made himself dictator or president for life. So the president of the United States, unbeknownst to anybody, congratulates him for having a communist government. If a Republican had done this, Republicans in Congress would have been outraged. It's crazy. Congratulating a communist government. It's just nuts. And speaking of nuts, the president it will be impeached by the House, but there's so much more than just the Ukraine phone call to the Ukrainian president. But it's going to have to catch up. It's going to have to slow down a little bit to get the American public ready for impeachment. I just wrote a tweet about, I wasn't here for Andrew Johnson. That was before I was born. That was back in after the Civil War. But I was here for Watergate. Nixon was not impeached. Everybody needs to remember that. Nixon was a coward, and Nixon resigned rather than be impeached. He didn't want to see impeached before his name. So unlike today, members of his own party came down to the White House, led by Senator Barry Goldwater, a former presidential candidate, and told Nixon in very blunt terms, you don't have more than 4 or 5 votes, you got to get out of town or you're going to be impeached. So this was the president's own party. Back, I just read in Profiles in Courage, Andrew Johnson was impeached but not convicted. And he had 7 members of his own party, 7 members of the other party, of his party, voted against conviction. So people have had courage in the past. And Bill Clinton, if Bill Clinton were president today, the Me Too movement, he probably would have been convicted. So what I try to say, every time there's an impeachment or impeachment hearing, weird things happen. It's like the O.J. Simpson trial. Weird people pop out on the news. So back in the Nixon Watergate thing, we had people, the famous phrase from there is Richard Nixon going, I am not a crook, I am not a crook. That's what we remember from that, but it turned out he was a crook. So he was lying too. And then we had Howard Baker, who was a senator, a majority leader, a Republican from Tennessee. His famous line was, what did he know and when did he know it? And he kept asking that of every witness. And Sam Ervin was a senator, I think, from North Carolina. He said he was just an old country lawyer. So we actually had people on all sides trying to be fair. Now we have people, if you look at the Clinton impeachment, Clinton's famous line was, it depends how you define the word is. What is? Remember that? What does the word is? Meaning, did he have sex? And he said, it depends on what you mean by the word is. And then Hillary, before she found out he was with Monica Lewinsky, said it's all a vast right-wing conspiracy. So there's going to be terms that come out of here. Right now, the first term I think we'll remember from this is a witch hunt. Somehow Trump doesn't like witches, I guess. Everything's a witch hunt, giving witches a bad name. So this is just going to be weirder and weirder. There's going to be more breaking news every 5 minutes. We're going to have I've heard breaking news just driving over here twice in the last 10 minutes. So every reporter is going to be on this. Trump's now Secretary of State Pompeo has told Congress he's not going to be intimidated by them and won't testify. That's crazy. Congress is an equal branch. They have the power of subpoenaing people and talking to people and finding out what's going on. Pompeo said he won't talk. So here is Pompeo saying he's not going to talk to Congress after the President of the United States has accused the head of one of the committees, Congressman Schiff, of treason. That's outrageous. That's nuts. All he's doing is carrying out a congressional hearing, and then he wants to meet the whistleblower. The whole point of a whistleblower law is so the whistleblower stays anonymous, so the president or whoever it is doesn't know who they are. The president wants to meet him and thinks he's a spy. I mean, this has just gotten crazy. The language being used, the president's like a trapped animal, and he's fighting back, and he'll do anything he can to stay in office. And he'll use the impeachment as a badge of courage. He'll be the first president. It's unprecedented. Nixon was in his second term. Clinton was in his second term. Trump will be running for re-election for a second term, probably being impeached, maybe with a trial going on. And with his base, that'll probably help him. So we're in weird times. It's just very strange. Like I said, if we see cracks in the Senate, former presidential candidate and senator from Utah, Mitt Romney, has spoken out saying this is not a good thing. Chuck Grassley, Republican senator from Iowa today, spoke out saying the president's wrong. So we're seeing some cracks. We're seeing the president's approval rating actually going down. So this is all going to take weird twist. As I said, I worked for the Democratic candidate who ran against George McGovern in 1972. I was on his staff for 2 years of the presidential campaign. We lost every state to Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon won one of the biggest landslides in American political history in 1972. One of the biggest landslides. 2 years later, he resigns from office. So a day is 24 hours in politics with this impeachment going on. Could mean anything. Trump, you never know who's going to pop up, say what Trump did or didn't do. But Trump has been playing fast and loose with the laws and norms of our country. And it's pretty obvious he will be impeached by a Democratic Congress. But Congress needs 20 votes. Senate needs 20 votes to get to a majority of 67. It's going to be hard to find 20 Republicans who have courage. But there may be a few. So we will see what happens. So I wanted to get that off my chest because I think Trump calling the president for life of China is crazy. Thank him for having an independence. It's not Independence Day, it's National Day. For when the communists took over. I mean, that's everything we disagree with. And he's in a trade war with them too, and it's crazy. So now he's got the Attorney General of the United States going around to Italy and different European countries trying to find evidence that our intelligence agencies are doing something wrong. This has never happened in our history. A president being against the FBI, the CIA, intelligence agency. Very wacky. We're living in strange times, but like Watergate and the Clinton impeachment, it'll be an interesting time. May you live in interesting times. So we are living in interesting times. But I hope the stock market last few weeks has figured out if Mike Pence became president, it might be better for the market would probably go up because he's somewhat sane. He's not crazy like Trump. And the markets would probably go up. So that's what I leave you with. Strange times are happening. Tell me what I'm R. Gutman at jhu.edu. We've had the strange comments from I am not a crook from Nixon to Clinton trying to talk about what sex was. The word is, what the meaning of is in the blue dress. What will we remember from Clinton's impeachment? Write me, talk to me, let me know. So far this is a witch hunt. What will be next? Over and out. This is Bob Gutman of Political Profiles at Transatlantic Magazine. Oh, I'm at Robert, I think, what am I? At Robert Gutman on Twitter. So write me, call me. And tonight, go Nationals. Hope we get into the playoffs. Good night.